Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's Tuesday morning. There's a beautiful balmy breeze blowing across Circular Quay. We've got the magnificent Harbour Bridge and Opera House presenting themselves with all their beauty this morning. It's a little bit overcast, but the breeze is coming in from the east, and this may blow away and burn off throughout the day. So I've got an early start, and I want to go through another book summary this morning. A very interesting book summary, a powerful book summary, and the book is entitled Real Help by an author named Ayedeji Awosika. So an interesting perspective on life, and some nice beautiful truths to mull over on this Tuesday morning to help us get us through the day, through the week, and see where life takes us. So the author kicks off the book with a beautiful quote where they say that nothing worth having comes easy. We are called to live an extraordinary life and to find your why and your how. That's a powerful point, and it's a sort of message that we need to spread to our families, to our children, to our work peers, that nothing worth having comes easy. Because if it was easy, everybody would have it. So I guess rule number one, in order for people to understand and to help them traverse the challenges of life, is to appreciate what a famous Australian Prime Minister, Malcolm Fraser, once said, that life isn't easy. And as this author here says, that nothing worth having comes easy. So everything requires an effort, everything requires focus, preparation in order to reap the beauties and the rewards. So let's go on and examine the first formal point to come out of this book, where the author reminds us that we're living in a world which is a system, and there's different ways of observing and describing the system or the systems, but the system, regardless of how good it is faulty, and it's up to you, up to each and every one of us, to save ourselves from the system and to take charge of our lives. There's no use in, drifting. There's no use in just passing off the responsibility and accountability to others. Each and every one of us need to struggle against whatever system it is to achieve the peace, serenity, and respect that we deserve and that we need. So we need to acknowledge the world that we live in and stop fighting the system. There are people who are making it regardless of this system and the hurdles it places in our way. And I remember years ago going to a seminar run by Jim Rowan, and he says that regardless of when you were born into the world, 2,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 10 years ago, or 1,000 years from now, there will always be people complaining about the system. They'll be saying that there's not enough work, the tax rate is too high, interest rates are too high, house prices are too high, and it just goes on and on. The issues that people will come up with, regardless of when they're born into the world, will be pretty similar. But as we know, as we've seen in our lifetimes, regardless of what's happening, regardless of whether or not there's a pandemic, regardless of whether or not we've got economic crisis, there are people who are becoming billionaires and becoming successful every single day, regardless of the system. So learn to operate, learn to live with the system, and to work through the system is the key message from this book. There are more billionaires created now than ever before. So whilst we can't change the wind, as Steve Covey says, we can set our sails and adjust our sails to make the most with the prevailing winds that exist. So the system is the system. So we need to learn to work with it. Just like when I did martial arts many years ago, my instructor, my master that I worked with, also did Aikido. And he taught us that through Aikido uses your opponent's energy and direction, and what you do is you redirect that, you use that energy to your advantage. And just like that, this book here calls us to using the energy of the existing system around us, and systems which are not going to change very much and haven't changed throughout our lives and throughout the generations. You need to learn to work within the system and to shape it to your benefit, rather than to spend your valuable energy fighting the system. Which means that we need to learn to become resourceful and to seize opportunities as and when they appear. Learn to surf. One of the best metaphors in life that I've learnt over the years is the one of the surfer. So regardless of the weather conditions, regardless of where the wind is blowing or what the swell is doing, there will always be a particular place where the waves are at their best. And it's not they're not at their best every single day, but by managing and monitoring the conditions around you, you know every single day, or you know where the best waves will be breaking, so that you can swim out there and make the most of them. So learn to be surfers is a good analogy and a metaphor for us to incorporate into our thinking. The second formal point to come out of this book here is where the author talks about the importance of becoming brutally honest about what we want, what we can achieve, how we can achieve it, and what our strengths and weaknesses are. Because being brutally honest is going to save you, rather than protecting you from the brutality of life. You're better off being brutally honest and embracing life and embracing the system, and then working the system. Because we have to understand, and this is a point that the author makes, and this is a beautiful point for the young people out there, that we need to understand that nobody, absolutely nobody, you can take this as a gift from this book, nobody is going to save you, because it's you that is actually going to save you. Nobody else is going to save you other than yourself. Not your parents, not your boss, not your partner, not your big brother, your little sister, your siblings, your relatives. Nobody's going to save you unless you first want to save yourself. And we need to understand that there are games being played. There are people out there who just love playing the victim and blaming others for the problems in their lives. This is an excuse and keeps them in their comfort zone. Some people probably prefer to sit within a comfort zone and not do anything about their lives and complain about everything, rather than grabbing the bull by the horns and doing whatever they need to do to achieve the dreams that they have. They get caught up in the vortex of vulnerability and victimhood, and never seem to swim through the rip, across the rip, to get out of the rip, to then sort themselves out. So the author here calls us to action, and we need to start, according to them, to start journaling and capturing our recurring thoughts, our recurring thought patterns, and to understand where our comfort zone is, where our lazy zone is, and to try and map it. Because we first need to map the terrain that we're in order to discover the paths that may lead us out of that terrain, out of that jungle. And we need to commit ourselves to goals and to leave all the excuses behind. A powerful point. We need to learn to leave all the excuses behind. Let me have a look here. I think this train here goes to the airport, so I'll just get on board and prepare myself for another day's work. I've got a little bit more to do with this book summary. I'll finish it off on the train.
There's a crack pipe shoved in between two of the seats.
Anyway.
This carriage on that side up there. No worries.
Anyway, somebody's saying that something happened on the train, so I'll just keep my eyes peeled and ears aware while I'm finishing off this vlog. So the last formal point to come out of this book is where the author says that if you want to make it, you will have to get used to the challenges, the loneliness, and work out and take it upon yourself, I guess, to figure things out, to figure out your plan, and to work your way through, over, under, and around the system. Just keep on going is the message from this author, and forward is better, and to understand that what we should be focusing on is progress, not perfection. There are a number of perfectionists out there who struggle to achieve anything because they want everything to be aligned, everything to be perfect, whereas the system, the world, according to this author, suggests that nothing is perfect. We just need to make the best of what we have available to us. So the call to action from the author in finishing up this book summary is that we need to change our mindset, and through changing one's mindset will create some discomfort to you and to those around you. You may lose friends, but the reason why it is challenging to yourself and to others is that most people love the status quo. Most people love no change. But the call to action from this author is that we need to continue to, struggle. We need to continue to work hard in order to maintain the status quo, let alone improve the status quo. So I guess the final word from this author is to keep on fighting. Life isn't easy, but we need to keep on pushing forward with our dreams, with our goals, with our ambitions, in order to hopefully break through at some point in time. I think I'll leave it there, so thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. We went through another fantastic book with some wonderful learnings entitled Real Help. So I look forward to coming to you again from a different place, different location, with a different message of empowerment, and wishing you a wonderful day. Take care, everybody. Bye for now, and we'll chat again.